So today we have another speaker. So Sandeep Kaur, and she will talk about between homes and horizons, my journey as an international student. So let me talk about introduce Sandeep. So Sandeep Kaur is an MBA candidate at Greenfield School of Management. So she has been awarded the Greenfield MBA scholarship for the leadership potential and global mindset. Originally from India, she holds MSc in Big Data Science from QMUL University of London, graduating with distinction. And with over 7 years of experience across data, AI, and product strategy in the sectors such as telecom, aviation, consulting, Sandeep has worked with data consulting services, and she is passionate about empowering international students to embrace change, lead with confidence, turn challenges into opportunities for growth. So let's welcome Sandeep Kaur. And Sandeep, now over to you. And please feel free to share the screen and whatever you want. Okay. Thank
Sure.
you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Sandeep Kaur. Thank you so much for inviting me, sir. It's an honor to see and get to know students from Queen Mary again. It was it was really nice to be back and just meet you and see. I'll just share my screen and then we can just go on with this. 1 second. Mm, Okay, there we go. So, I'll just tell a little brief about myself. I came to London in 2019. As Sapal sir said, he also joined Queen Mary in 2019. I did my engineering in electronics and communication in Delhi. And I was always curious. And then I worked in DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. It started with an internship, and then I worked further for a few more months. And the scientist who I was working under, he suggested me to, considering how I used to ask questions and all that, to delve a bit more into data. And I had the experience with programming and all, but it was more on the software side of things. And this was 2019 I'm talking about, so the time when whole data was becoming more a hot topic in the industry. Now it's AI. At that time, it was data. And so yeah, he suggested me, why don't you go across and try a master's and see how that goes across. And so that was it. And I was like, okay, fine, let me see. I went across. I chose UK. I think there wasn't any other country in my mind all across. I've grown up reading about Jane Austen and all the history and all. So I was always quite, there was an emotional side of things to it. But uh, I think UK was one of the go-to, and there wasn't any other. And so then I joined Queen Mary as I did my MSc in Big Data Science, and further on after that, I joined a startup for a year, which was called Flightnary at that time, and then after that, I worked as a lead data engineer in Tata Consultancy Services with British Telecom and Stellantis as my major clients. And then after 3 years of working here, I thought, all right, let's go more into get back into a student. I went forward for my MBA at Grandfield School of Management, and I recently just finished 3 months back. And then I did my internship at Cerium, which is an aviation analytics company. Okay, so now here I am. So let's start a little bit into my journey from India to UK. I think as a student, even back in India, one of the things which usually, when you coming from the culture of when you're supposed to study and be your best and have the best grades and everything, academic and professional foundation was one of the points where I want to be a that yeah, this is something which was my first point to even consider going further for studies abroad. And then there was this call for global growth. We when you are in one particular country, let's say the one you're born in, and you work there, you study there, you know people there, you know the culture there, but it still remain a sort of a bubble because you know only the people from your culture, or maybe though India is very diverse, but still that international layer of things when you go beyond as a person. I know, like I can imagine a lot of you in here in this meeting, they come from different countries, and it might have been their first experience being outside their country, away from family. So I think that itself is a motivation to grow yourself, to go for that. And when you choose a country, a completely different country where you might not even know people, I think that's a sort of, you are already on the path to build up that resilience, to become a different person. You will never be, all of you here, even me when I arrived, you don't remain the same person who arrived. You leave as a completely different, a new, you invent different things about yourself you might not even imagine that you can do or you know about it. And then specifically in UK, it was a UK adaptation to get to know how people work here. The the workplace culture, because I worked with cross-cultural teams and off-site, on-site teams in India and in US and in Italy later on in my experience here in Tata. And at that time, we realized how the thinking and the mentality changes when you are in different global locations. Even if you're working in the same role, a data engineer working here in London might have a different outset to their colleagues or their seniors, and but in India it's a little bit different in terms of the hierarchy of things. So I think one of the major things which I learned here was the UK adaptation, that how the thinking works. um, and then yeah, that this was the scary year. QMUL and my very first year here. I think the very first hour when I arrived at Heathrow Airport, uh, I was not as prepared as people are now. It was back in 2019. Was just relying on the Wi-Fi at the airport. So I did tell my parents there that yes, I have arrived. But when I arrived here at the so university usually sends the bus from the airport if you are collectively coming. And I arrived at the airport. I was at the university accommodation, Stokes Court. And they usually give you those gift boxes to as a welcome, and they will have the sim and everything. I still have the same number. I got the Jeff sim there. And but they forget to give the Wi-Fi password for the accommodation. So it was that incident which I still remember, like first 3 hours in London and without Wi-Fi. I did not tell my family that I have arrived at the in the accommodation. And at that point, it's all about, you are in a new country, you're in a new environment, there are new people, you don't know anyone, and then already you're coming from a long flight, so you're exhausted. And then those feelings, everything just crush you together, like it all hits you together, I mean, and you want to run away. I wanted to run away. So I think that is something which is quite common. And later on when I made friends and everything, you share those, that yeah, that's what happened. But my takeaway from all that was that it's a new environment, you will meet new people, but that's gonna make a new you as well. That's the good thing about it. Adaptability, yes, very important. I think we all come to a new country. You all come for this master's here with something in your mind, with some goal that yes, um, I am going to maybe get into a different career transition. Maybe I will uh, get up the ladder in my career, or maybe just to experience a new country. So that integration, the first thing with first 4 months or 6 months will be that integration of the academic structure, UK academic structure specifically, from your home country. So I think that is something which you adapt to. And the culture fluency, I basically call it like learning British dry humor. It's not like we are not accustomed to it even in our own countries. We live in a global world. We all know how different cultures are, but it's like the physicalness of it when you arrive in a country, when you interact with people who are in that country, how do they do things? I think those small social cues, and when you start learning to read them, that creates a lot of confidence in you. But at the same time, you become very assimilated in it. I won't say you become them, but you do know how to approach them. And I think that builds a level of confidence in you. You get to know about the diverse cultures, how to voice your your voice in your classroom right now. You would have already met like people, you would have made friends. It's just how, just because people are from different places, they have different background, they were raised in a completely different culture. But there are, I mean, it really surprises me, even still surprises me, when you meet people and they're like, there are few things which we all as human have so common in, but then there are few things which can create a lot of misinterpretation. So I think even when you, those are transferable skills. When you go from being a student to being in the industry, you manage teams or you work in teams, that skill of knowing to read the diversity, to being able to read the room, to being able to work with those different diverse teams is something which is still in demand. And it doesn't matter if how technically innovative companies become, that human touch to to be to be knowing that, because we all work with people, is really important. I mean, that's one really big takeaway. And then embracing the unexpected, that was, I think, the first thing which um, as a student you will have those moments of doubt or moments of confusion. And I came in 2019, so in the second semester we hit COVID, and it was, nobody expected it. I think the whole world did not expected it. So as a student, as an international student who is away from your country, and how do you adapt to it? How do you see that what's happening? How do you get updated with the news on daily? I think those things, those few months do teach you a lot, and do taught me a lot at that time, that it was not just about studies anymore at that time. It was more about how I can be in touch with the people here, how I can, as simple as like how I can move and get out of my room every day, because they shifted everything to online. So I think those things is a skill which you build when you are in a different environment. You cannot, I'm not saying you cannot never, but it's very hard to have it when you are in the comfort of your own home, or in your own country, or in a place or the people which you know. Adaptability comes with humility. You need to know, you need to be willing to learn. And yeah, I think that was that was really, that is one thing which, even as a person who is in a new place, in a new industry, or in a new career change, or in a career shift, if you embrace that unexpectedness of the circumstances, I think that's where you start building on it in a more positive manner rather than being critical about it. So that's really important as for me. And then yeah, this was same, adapting the UK but with a lot of pictures. You are going to have a lot of fun if you want to, but like, be open to it. Don't try to experience as much as you can. London is really really diverse. You meet people from every community. And this was Royal Opera House down here. When I went for, there is this one Punjabi singer Satinder Sartaaj, sir might know him, and I went for his concert. And in Royal Opera House, which has like the whole history of being one of the oldest opera house in London or in UK, yes. But that feeling of belonging in a different country is something which you can only experience when you are in a different country and you're very far away from home. You see your people or people who become yours after a while. So really important in terms of adapting. Then people. I think this is something which I always focus on, even during my time here in MBA. These are the people I've met during Queen Mary, so I just kept their picture. Uh, they, it's, these were few people who become lifelong friends. They still are, and I'm so lucky to meet a lot of them. Uh, it's after a while, once you have settled down in a new place and you're far away from family, you talk to them and everything, that's fine. But having that touch of physical, your physical space, and having people in that which support you is really really important. And I think especially at the time of COVID, when they were so less that we can't even like meet a lot of them as regular as we want to. I think having the right set of people around me really helped me in those years. Even post COVID, when I started working, it it just built onto it. It's more of like uh, a compound effect, which you might see that it's not that important, but later on you will know that this is something which really helped you, because it's not the assessments, it's not the scores. Even in UK, it's more about learning adaptation, but not the scores per se. But the social group which you are in, which support you, which make you learn, which you look forward to, and like, yes, this is something which I that mindset. So I think if you are lucky enough to find right set of people, it's really going to help you, it's really going to help in your development, especially in a new country. And it's not very easy. I still am a little bit, I'm working on it, as an introvert. I came to this country as an introvert, and the very first week, I still remember, it was just crying in those sessions, because you don't know whom to talk to, and then you're in a new place. You are not understanding much of the things, and it's really new. It's a normal human experience as well, but at that time it feels silly, and it feels really dreadful, not silly. Later on, it feels silly. So yeah, that's just one thing to say, that people are really important. You'll make really good friends here and just invest on them, because even though after this, it doesn't matter globally where you are present, if you have like good network, it's really going to help you one way or another. Then MBA and Cranfield. So after my work experience at Tata Consultancy Services, I worked there for 2 years, and I wanted to do more. uh, from data analytics to data storytelling. That's how I did my transition, or that's how I wanted to go further into it. My job was mainly, if I can explain you in like very briefly, was taking data from a point A to B, and then doing some transformations and going to point C. And after point C, even if me personally, uh, if I'm curious about it, I wasn't able to know what happens after C, because that will now go to the product manager or the product lead or whosoever is going to make the decision part of the thing. And I think after a while, this is what I wanted to, or I find myself career wise, I want to align or pivot more towards those roles in which I can be the one who's doing the storytelling, who is making the decisions based on those inferences and analytics. So um, I decided to go for an MBA, and at Cranfield School of Management. It is outside London. That was my first experience living outside London. And if you have got the chance to travel outside London, you will know there is a lot difference in terms of the transportation, in terms of the people. So it was, even though I did not expect it, that it will be very different for me, since I have already lived and studied and worked in UK. Doing an MBA in Cranfield still have a lot of different aspects of it, because Cranfield was out of nowhere. It's nearby Milton Keynes, and then from there also you need to take a bus. So it was almost like you're in your own bubble. And but the people, again, I think it's also, later on we do a lot of personality tests for one of the modules in MBA, and I got to know how we think is also a lot on those psychology tests. And people is something which, it's also sort of my personality type. And I really invest or think more about any sort of work, even in industry, if you have the right set of team to work along with. So this was my cohort, great, amazing, lovely people from different places. And it was really intense. It was really exciting. We went to a lot of competitions. I went to VCIC, and our team won the first prize in Europe South regional finals. And I think that was, I did not expected it. I did not even expect it to get selected in the top six of, because it was a selection program from the cohort. We need to select top six people. And but that's the thing. You expect the unexpected. You go with a different point of view, that this is how the maximum success will look like to me. But you come out of it with a completely different experience, be it in Queen Mary or be it in Cranfield. I think it really depends upon what's your outlook and how much you're ready to delve into things, how much you're ready to uh, get and be ready for those new experiences. If you are I won't say underconfident is the word here, but sometimes we just have this that maybe I don't know, or maybe, trust me, a lot of times people who delve into it or people who say yes to it are the one who maybe just know, I don't know, 50% of it, but the rest 50% is just that motivation, just that I want to get into it. You are here in a completely different country and you are going to meet people in a different side of the globe. So I think what I would want to say here is just make the most of it. Try to get into competitions, try to join as many as societies, and by it's not just a number, quality wise, which you can learn from or which you think is something which will help me further in the career maybe. I joined to a consultancy club in my Cranfield time, and I was also the social rep for the cohort as a social representative to create to organize events and everything in all the festivals and all those kind of things. um I still remember my first presentation, which I gave them for, like, it was just the first week of standing in front of 61 people and my MBA director and telling them why they should choose me as their social representative. I was, it was something which I will never forget, even though it's like 1 year back I'm talking about. But just the thing about just that particular attitude to go out there and be present there, to put yourself out there, I think that's gonna help a lot. That's gonna take you to places where you did not expect to be. If you always it's a saying, right? You have to do something different to expect something which you don't already have. So similar thing. uh, One takeaway for from MBA was network. Your networking really matters in terms of even the current job market, how it is going. You will get into interviews with referrals, and by knowing people or just having those informal coffee chats with people over LinkedIn, rather than the cold applications which we usually do. I'm not saying they don't work, they do work, but it's like the time and the precision it takes and putting yourself out there just shows the recruiter that how much you care about it, or how much you can stand out, or how much willing you are. It already shows you as a team player or somebody who is proactive enough. So that is one of my suggestions, if you will, that network and use it outside. Go outside. London is like so full of events happening every day in different industries, so go to those events, meet people. Even if you think like going by yourself is something which you dread, go with a friend. And networking events, you get better in networking when you start doing it, and it just goes up. You can't expect to go to an event for the very first time and be like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about and all that. It never happens. But it's about, again, that will to put yourself out there, and yeah, just be having that attitude that yes, I'm here to learn. I am not perfect, but I want to do this. So I think that is something which is gonna take you places, really. Okay, I think I'll end by saying that as an international student, your journey doesn't end with your degree. It's more of like it starts after your degree. Your story is not about where you come from, whichever country you're from. It's about what you're becoming, what you want to delve into next, and how you take all of that experience, and how what's the perspective of you. Don't I won't say don't do it at all, but some people have a plan that okay, A will happen, B will happen, C will happen, D will happen. That's your idea of success. But when you are in a different country, in a different place, in different people, you don't know what opportunity can present itself and how it's gonna impact your career. You might just go from A to D because you take a different X route rather than going B, C, D. So those are the moments of doubt and failure, which we consider it as failure. Because, but what I will suggest is just be more open to those moments, basically. That just because it's not happening as you want it to happen exactly, it's not like you're failing or something. Just have the confidence and have the curiosity in you. Because yeah, that's my last thing to say as well, that be curious about everything. That Because that discomfort, as I'll connect back to my point of adaptability. That discomfort is going to give you that adaptability. So I think this is a funny thing I wrote, like remove your phone case. That's just a little story. I have removed my phone case, and initially it just, I can see the color of my phone now. But it's more of like, um, it's my way of being vulnerable but being yourself. I think that's something which is going to help you a lot. I don't know how more I can explain on that, but as long as you're yourself and you're not trying to be an idea of something else, that authenticity is something which is going to help you a lot in industry. Because there is one thing to know the skills of working in a particular role, and then there is another thing to have an attitude to work in it to the best of your to the best of your capability. But at the same time, that I want to be here because I want to be here. It's something which is me. So if you are lucky enough to find that, I think stick to it. And if you're even lucky enough to be self aware that much, to know your authentic self. Because most of the time, as I said, the idea of success can be like A to B to C to D. That if it is not authentic to you and you just think that that's how society looks at it and that's success, I don't think so it's going to take you or it's going to give you a lot of comfort later on. But yeah, I think that's how I will end. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. But my best wishes for you all for this for your upcoming year. You still have like more semesters to go. Make the best of it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you have further anything I can do for you in the future, I'll try to help my best, then feel free to connect on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Sandeep. That's very long journey. So
It
that
was.
looks very great. Yeah, you have went through so many ups and downs. It's good, at least, because most of the people they've shown that technical part of their journey and all these things. Nobody shown these kind of things, which makes very interesting. And everyone has to went through these kind of things. So now I would ask any student if you have any questions. So Sandeep, can you please share your LinkedIn profile link in the
Yeah,
chat
sure. I
so
can
that
drop it in the
student
chat.
can reach to you also.
No problem.
And so students, please turn on your mic or you can use chat so we can take 1 or 2 minutes more to ask the questions. So I will